Benny buzzed excitedly. Today was the day. His latest invention, the Pollinator 3000, was ready. This will change everything. No more long flights for pollen. We'll be swimming in honey.
Benny declared, adjusting his tiny goggles. He patted the machine, a mixture of excitement and nerves buzzing in his belly. He had been working on this for weeks, collecting dewdrop gears and dandelion springs.
Just imagine, Buzz, all the honey we could make.
Yeah, imagine. You always come up with these wild ideas, Benny. And while we're imagining, why not imagine us flying to the moon on a daisy? Maybe we can even build a hive up there.
Buzz, a lean bee with a dry wit, landed on a nearby honeycomb. His skepticism was as thick as honey, and he wasn't shy about showing it. Benny, used to his friend's pessimism, brushed it off. He knew Buzz's doubts came from a place of concern, even if it didn't always sound that way.
You'll see, Buzz. This time I've thought of everything. The Pollinator 3000 will revolutionize honey production. It's not just a machine, it's a game changer for our hive.
Right, like that last invention of yours that was supposed to make honeycombs out of flower petals? We all remember how that turned out. That just gave the queen a rash. She was not pleased, to say the least.
Benny winced. The memory of the queen's reaction was still fresh, and it wasn't a pleasant one.
That was just a minor setback. This time it's different. I've learned from my mistakes and improved the design. This time, I've cracked the code. The Pollinator 3000 is going to change everything for us. Just wait and see.
Benny took a deep breath and pulled the lever on the Pollinator 3000. The machine sputtered, coughed, and then whirred to life with a deafening roar. Pollen flew everywhere, coating the workshop in a thick yellow cloud.
Benny, I think something's wrong.
He was right. The pollinator was shaking violently, shooting pollen in all directions. Honeycombs trembled, threatening to fall from the ceiling.
It's too much power. I didn't account for the extra pollen density.
Suddenly, the machine sputtered and died with a groan. The entire workshop fell silent, the only sound being the faint hum of the cooling machinery.
Silence fell, broken only by the sound of Benny's heavy breathing. He looked around, his eyes wide with disbelief. The once bustling workshop was now eerily quiet. The pollen began to settle, revealing a sticky mess. It clung to every surface, creating a chaotic scene that seemed impossible to clean.
Well, that was a disaster. Benny's voice was filled with frustration as he surveyed the damage.
Buzz said, wiping pollen from his eyes. He tried to stay positive, but the situation looked grim. But as he looked around, his jaw dropped. Something unexpected was happening.
Whoa, Benny, look! Buzz's voice was filled with excitement as he pointed towards the honeycomb.
The pollen, mixed with honey and nectar, had solidified into the most beautiful, intricate honeycomb structure they had ever seen. It was a masterpiece, created by accident. It shimmered with 1,000 colors, reflecting the light in dazzling patterns. The entire workshop was bathed in a kaleidoscope of hues.
It's magnificent. Benny's voice was barely a whisper, filled with awe.
Benny whispered, his voice filled with wonder. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He had never seen anything like it. The accidental creation was more beautiful than anything they had ever made intentionally. Benny and Buzz stood for a moment, admiring their unexpected creation. They had spent countless hours working on the Pollinator 3000, hoping it would revolutionize their hive's efficiency. The Pollinator 3000 might not have worked as planned, but it had led them to something truly extraordinary. Instead of just pollinating flowers, it had created a new type of honey, richer and more flavorful than anything they had ever tasted.
You know, Benny, sometimes the biggest blunders lead to the sweetest discoveries. It's like finding a hidden treasure when you least expect it.
Buzz said, a rare smile on his face. He was usually the more serious of the two, always focused on the task at hand. Benny grinned, his heart full. He realized that their journey was just as important as the destination. The mistakes they made along the way were stepping stones to their success. He had learned a valuable lesson today, to never give up, even when things go wrong. Every failure was a lesson in disguise, a chance to grow and improve. After all, even the biggest mistakes can have a silver lining. Sometimes, what seems like a setback is actually a setup for something greater.
Next time, I'm going to invent a machine that makes honey rain from the sky, Benny exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with excitement and determination.
Buzz sighed, shaking his head. He knew Benny's enthusiasm was unstoppable, and that was part of what made their partnership so special.
Here we go again. he muttered, already thinking about the next adventure they would embark on together.